It's Dungeon Meshi time with our favorite glutinous trio, Makoto and others? What? It's Joe, and welcome back to my Trillionth channel, and this is my review of episode 4 of Campfire Cooking in Another World with my Absurd Skill Season 2. Oh, and warning, there will be spoilers, also please like and subscribe. Recap time. Picking up from where episode 3 ended, episode 4 begins with Makoto and the glutinous trio entering Dolan's dungeon. Fel, sniffing out the enemies in the dungeon, proclaims that there are only weaklings on the first 10 floors and decides to run through those floors. While doing so, Fel activates a few traps like springing arrows and ends up giving Makoto a crash course on how dungeons work. Apparently, dungeons are living things that lure living humans into the dungeon with promises of rich rewards and treasure chests, kill the lured humans in with the monsters and traps, and absorbs the dead humans as nutrition, keeping the cycle of life going for the dungeon. It's actually not a bad explanation as to why this isekai dungeon works the way it does. Upon reaching the 10th floor, the gang decide to tackle the boss monster of that floor and come across a bunch of adventurers waiting in front of a large door that leads to the boss monster. There, Makoto is given another crash course, this time about the proper etiquette that adventurers should stick to when exploring a dungeon. Stuff like how the first party to engage with a boss monster gets priority, how you shouldn't steal dropped items from the adventurer party that is engaging with the boss monster, or how one shouldn't interfere with a battle between an adventurer party and a boss monster unless asked to do so. Much of which can be summed up with, just don't be a jerk. After having waited for their turn to face the boss monster, the gang faces the 10th floor's boss, Venom Tarantulas, and engages with this enemy for like 10 seconds cause Dora-chan gets excited, pulls a Kamehameha, and obliterates the Venom Tarantulas, giving us an idea as to the kind of power boost that Dora-chan has gotten from receiving the blessing of the god of war, Vahagan, in the previous episode. From there, the gang pass by other floors of the dungeon, defeating monsters left and right without much issue. It's basically a dungeon speedrun at this point. They only decide to stop after getting a little bit peckish and finding what looks to be a safe resting room. There, Makoto is reunited with the Iron Will party. It's a party that first appeared in season 1 of the series and is one of the first adventurer parties that Makoto made connections with after having been summoned to this world. After having gone and caught up with them, Makoto offers to share the meal that he's prepared with the Iron Will party, an offer that they could not possibly decline. So the glutinous trio, the Iron Will party, and Makoto enjoy a lovely wyvern beef stew. Parting ways with the Iron Will party after the meal, Makoto and the gang proceed down more floors in the dungeon, occasionally running into traps, and beating various monsters along the way. All the while, Makoto is in the background picking up items that get dropped by said defeated monsters. Upon reaching the 20th floor, Makoto and the gang find a treasure chest. Makoto excitedly tries to open it but is stopped and told off by Fel for not appraising the treasure chest first to check for traps before opening them. A usage of the appraisal skill finds that the treasure chest will release deadly poisonous gas when it is open, a revelation that leaves Makoto depressed until he receives an oracle from a disappointing goddess informing him that having multiple small blessings give him the same benefits that a regular blessing has. Seeing at how a regular blessing gives one poison immunity, and how Makoto has multiple small blessings from the goddesses, Makoto apparently now has poison immunity. With this new knowledge in mind, Makoto bravely opens the chest, faces the poisonous gas, and finds the chest empty. Filled with both disappointment and a new desire to find a treasure chest that actually has treasure in it, the gang ventures down to the 21st floor where the gang encounters a mimic that Makoto defeats with a mithril short sword that Sui had created for him in the last episode. The mimic leaves behind a jewelry box that leaves Makoto feeling ecstatic for having finally found something treasure-like. From there, the gang goes down to the 22nd floor and Makoto is amazed by the green forestry found in an area that is supposed to be a dungeon floor. There, the gang come across giant killer mantises, a giant bear thing, and butterfly monsters that each member of the gang almost instantly eviscerate with their OP skills. As Fell comments that the gang is nearing a powerful monster on the 22nd floor, Makoto suggests having a meal with foods purchased through his online supermarket skill to get a power boost before engaging such a dangerous opponent. This is a callback to a story element that was introduced in the first season. The idea being that food purchased through Makoto's online supermarket skill, or basically food from his world, can give temporary power boosts to those living in this isekai world, or aka the setting or environment that the show is happening in. Thrilled to have food from the other world, Phil happily agrees to this. After having bought food from the other world, as the entire gang drools around him, the glutinous trio proceed to have a heavenly meal, stuffing themselves full of various meat dishes from the other world. Having taken part in the feast himself, Makoto hopefully checks his status to see how much the food from the other world has given him a power boost, only to find that Makoto's power status have only been boosted by a little bit, disappointing the entire gang. And that's where episode 4 cuts things off. You gotta watch the next episode next week to find out what happens next. So, thoughts? There is a lot of world building in this episode. The explanation about the dungeons, the rules that adventurers have to follow, the safe resting areas, the treasure chest stuff, the explanation about stacking the small blessings that Makoto has received from the goddesses, etc. It's all world building components, but it's not overwhelming. And the pacing and the style of the episode I think helps a little bit, because the episode itself is basically just a combination of a bit of world building, a bit of action, another bit of world building, another bit of action, a bit of food, bit of action, bit of world building, etc., etc. For a 24-minute episode, it goes by pretty quickly, and at no point do you feel like you're being dragged down by all these different explainers. And this episode, like many of the previous episodes of this series, has been fantastic at just putting in small details that aren't majorly important to the plot, but just really go well with the vibe of the show. For example, this moment where Dora-chan reacts to Makoto's suggestion of eating before venturing any further.
その前に一回飯にしよう。念のため俺もネットスーパーの食材でステータスの底上げをしておきたいし。念のため俺もネット
I don't know how I would describe that sound. Maybe a gasp of delight, squeal of delight, I don't know. But combine that sound with that stance, with Dora-chan's arms of, yes, food. It adds a layer of humor to that scene that the animators didn't have to add in there. They could have just made this an interaction between Fel and Makoto without anyone else in the frame, but they added it in anyway. And it's small details like that that just really make this anime stand out in quality and just in entertainment value, right? Overall, another fantastic episode, and I cannot believe just how solid Season 2 of Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill has been, and I just can't wait for next week's episode. But that might just be me. Maybe you're hating this show, or maybe you're loving it, I don't know. But feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and if you like the video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see me continue to do reviews of this series, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching.